Welcome to AK Anime Explainer. Today is explanation of Soul Land 3, Legend of the Dragon King Part 84. Without any delay, start explanation. Luo Guixing's first soul skill, Spatial Lock. Using its powerful imprisonment ability, he had neutralized the two students earlier. The soul skill could not completely freeze the target and could only root them in place for a moment, so it required precise judgment to be used effectively, something Luo Guixing did not lack. Judging by the charging girl's momentum, he ruled out breaking into a direct confrontation. But at that moment, everyone's eyes went wide. The girl's body became illusory and soul rings rose from beneath her. 1 ring, 2 rings, 3 rings, 4 rings. A total of 4 purple rings appeared around her. Siduo. Half of the students present shouted in unison, including Tang San. They had just mentioned her and now she appeared. Then it struck Tang San why Yang Nianxia had only asked for her cooperation because he recognized her. Although Luo Guixing's team was larger than theirs and in good condition, it was difficult to say which team would come up at the top, especially with the rank 9 Hell Siduo and rank 27 Dark Bear Yang Nianxia on their side. Even at the same soul level, the gap between soul masters could be as great as that of the heavens and the earth. It was a rare opportunity for them to eliminate Luo Guixing's large team as well as establish a relationship with Siduo. Yang Nianxia's actions would benefit them immediately as well as in the long run. Siduo twisted in the air as if boneless, leaving an afterimage in a forward dash. An aura of darkness shrouded her now, but this darkness was different from that of Xu Yucheng's. She seemed more agile than before, an otherworldly air clinging to her form. Her figure flickered as she suddenly accelerated, appearing before Luo Guixing's team in a flash of lightning. This wasn't the first time most of Luo Guixing's team had worked together. The shield youth did not falter at Siduo's mad dash, his 3 soul rings lighting up in an instant. With that, Siduo abruptly changed direction, shifting her charge toward the shield-wielding youth. The shield youth had activated his 1000-year soul skill, Pull. The skill allowed him to attract the attention of his enemies for 10 seconds. For defense-type soul masters, this was a soul skill with tremendous use. Not a single person in Shrek Academy could be considered ordinary. It only took an instant for him to draw Siduo's charge toward him. A boom thundered through the air. Defense-type and control-type soul masters naturally restrained agility-type soul masters to a degree, but what happened was the entire opposite. Just before Siduo and the shield youth collided, the youth's expression blackened, and a second later, he was sent flying backward. Siduo's first soul ring dimmed while her second lit up. She continued her charge like a civet, countless afterimages of slashing claws tearing through Luo Guixing's team. She had single-handedly decimated the entire team. This was the strength of the greatest genius of the first grade, Siduo. The 2 agility-type soul masters barely managed to brandish their blades in defense against the claws. However, they could do nothing in front of Siduo's mighty cultivation base. The disparity between 4 and 3 rings became apparent now, and the 2 soul masters went reeling backward, blood spurting out of their mouths in scarlet arcs. Luo Guixing's flank was now exposed. All of a sudden, a whirlpool of silver light swirled around Siduo, engulfing the rest of her shadow claws and dragging her body from midair into its belly. A grunt, and Siduo's body flickered, becoming more illusory than before. She brought her hands together above her head, form bursting with a sharp sword's aura, and an enormous blade of pitch-black light materialized in her hands, contrasting with milky skin. She swung the blade down ferociously at the silver vortex. In an explosion of black and silver, the vortex disintegrated, the blade of black light scattering into nothingness. Luo Guixing retreated 2 steps back, groaning. White light struck him and the 2 agility-type soul masters from the back, restoring their strength. The shield youth had also recovered by now and once again used his soul skill to draw Siduo's attention in a charge. This was the strength of a team. Siduo might possess explosive strength, but Luo Guixing had survived her fierce combo. Now it was time for his team's retaliation. And retaliate they did. A wheel of ice appeared above Siduo's head, melting into a threads of blue light rendering her movements into a snail's pace. Xu Xiaoyan only had 2 soul rings, no doubt about it. But that did not mean her control ability was weak. Afraid of being left behind by her teammates, she had worked hard to improve in the last 3 years. Though usage of her Star Wheel Ice Staff was limited to nighttime, she had slowly mastered all of her Ice Staff soul skills. Her impressive spiritual power helped her utilize them with maximum efficacy. Siduo felt trapped in a quagmire under the effects of both the Shield Youth's and Xu Xiaoyon's control skills. Wrapped in such a tough situation, she fought to steady her breath. In a moment's glance, a blue vine pulled her to the side. Despite not completely out of harm's way, she was outside of the Shield Youth's soul skills range. With a roar, the transformed Yang Nianxia barreled past her. He smashed his fists into the ground. The earth shuddered, rocks peppering Luo Guixing's group. And then Siduo was free. A giant icicle floated above Luo Guixing's team. Siduo felt a tug on her waist again, and next thing she knew, she was whisked to the side. It felt warm, like being kept in someone's embrace. Turning her head, Siduo found herself staring straight at a pretty face, mesmerized by large eyes framed with long eyelashes. It's him. As students of the same class, she recognized who he was, the blacksmith representative, Tang Wulin. I'll send you over. As he held her by the waist, his eyes never left the battlefield. He rotated his body halfway, strength poured into his muscles, and then he exploded. In an instant, Siduo found herself soaring into the air. All in the blink of an eye? Tang Wulin wasted no time in activating his second soul ring. Underneath Luo Guixing's team bursted blue-silver impaling array while a hail of icicles fell from above. Tang Wulin's team worked in perfect concert with Siduo. While she soared into the air, Dark Bear Yang Nianxia charged toward the Shield Youth like a tank, his soul rings twinkling and his dark golden hair shining radiantly. He soon entered the range of the Shield Youth's pull, but he wasn't trying to avoid it in the first place. At that moment, Luo Guixing demonstrated his astonishing battlefield control ability that made him the core of his team. Inches before Yang Nianxia crashed into the Shield Youth, the youth disappeared in a silver flash of light and Yang Nianxia charged through thin air. The two agility-type soul masters instantly appeared at Yang Nianxia's sides, dashing around him and toward Tang Wulin and Ji Yu in the backline. It was clear that Yang Nianxia's might easily suppressed both agility and defense-type soul masters, so when the Shield Youth reappeared, he stood at Luo Guixing's side. Luo Guixing's eyes glinted as his first and second soul rings lit up. Silver light flashed around Yang Nianxia. Spatial soul skills were powerful because no one could do anything to avoid being teleported. In the blink of an eye, Yang Nianxia found himself 15 meters away from his previous position and rooted in place by spatial lock. This short-range teleportation and spatial lock would probably only slow him down by 2 or 3 seconds, but on a battlefield, victory or defeat could be decided in that time. With Yang Nianxia teleported away, Tang Wulin and Ji Yu were left wide open for the two agility-type soul masters to swoop in. It only took them a second to close the distance. Meanwhile, the shield soul master thrust his shield into the air with a grunt. Soul power flooded out of him to form walls around him, Luo Guixing, and Xu Xiaoyon. Their remaining two teammates stood behind them. One had his hands raised into the air, conjuring a giant bird of fire that soared into the air. The other was their support-type soul master. Light bloomed around him, flowing out to empower the soul power of his teammates. Soul power amplification was a powerful support ability that scaled with the user's growth. Its influence was tremendous and could turn the tide of battle, especially for a 7-man team. Luo Guixing's smile had already vanished from his face. An eerie calm set in him, his eyes shining with a light as if they were able to see through everything. The impromptu cooperation between Siduo and Yang Nianxia's team was undoubtedly the greatest challenge he had ever faced, but he was confident in his victory. He wasn't fighting them alone. He had a team with him. He firmly believed that the power of an individual person was limited, but that of a team was infinite. Furthermore, as the team's leader, it was crucial for him to have the skills that allowed his teammates to display their full potential. Luo Guixing had complete control of the battlefield. The Firebird melted the incoming icicle hail and the Shield Youth trampled the blue-silver grass into oblivion. Yang Nianxia had been teleported away since he was the most important foe on the battlefield. Although Wu Siduo was powerful, Luo Guixing was confident that his team would be able to defeat her. He currently needed to weaken his opponents and solidify his advantages, so his first priority was to get rid of the weakest two-ringed enemy. After doing so, he would be able to consolidate his team's strength and focus it on eliminating Dark Bear Yang Nianxia and Hell Wu Siduo. In a flash of blue light, blue-silver grass wound itself around Gu's waist. Tang Wulin used the grass to pull Gu into his arms and dropped to one knee, activating blue-silver impaling array to form a shield around them. The two agility-type soul masters charging toward Tang Wulin weren't fools. The instant the blue-silver grass erupted from the ground, they leaped into the air. However, the grass was too thick, and they soon lost track of their targets. Meanwhile, Yang Nianxia broke free of the spatial restraints and charged at Luo Guixing with a roar. Wu Siduo, on the other hand, finally displayed the might of someone ranked in the top 10. Light exploded from Wu Siduo as she soared through the air. Her aura was completely different from what it had been just moments before. Her fourth soul ring lit up and she split into 3 clones, each of which dove in different directions. The clones were transparent, as if they were made of murky water. Then her second soul ring lit up. Its radiance combined with the splendor of her fourth ring to illuminate the sky. Claws of shadow filled the sky, completely encompassing the Firebird and the shield wall. She was meeting force with force. Even though speed was her forte, she chose to clash with them head-on. A continuous rumbling resounded throughout the forest as the claws struck the shield wall and the Firebird. Luo Guixing's face darkened as he stared at Wu Siduo. He knew all too well just how much of an advantage Wu Siduo has because of her higher cultivation base. Her reputation wasn't just empty words. The Shield Youth and the Soul Master who summoned the Firebird groaned as they fought the storm of claws. Though they trembled before Wu Siduo's might, they barely managed to hold on due to the soul power amplification from their support. A silver vortex appeared once more. Luo Guixing, with his 1,000-year soul skill, was the only one who could contend with Wu Siduo. However, the instant the silver vortex appeared, Wu Siduo's second and fourth soul rings went dim. Instead, her first soul ring shone. With a sudden burst of speed, she shot through the air and sped toward the support-type soul master like a laser. It was Hell Rush. This was Wu Siduo's true aim. She didn't climb to rank 9 through brute force alone. No, she had been carefully planning her moves the entire battle. Yet at that moment, an ice spear shot at her from the side, intercepting her mid-rush. The spear gleamed with a cold light. Anyone hit by it would definitely be in for a bad time. Wu Siduo had just used a succession of soul skills, so she clearly had to be running low on soul power. Luo Guixing turned around and gave Xu Xiaoyan a thumbs up. Although Xu Xiaoyan only had 2 soul rings, she always managed to act at crucial moments throughout the competition for class presidency, making her move at just the right time to change the tide of battle. She didn't need any direction from Luo Guixing to blend in and cooperate with her teammates. It could be said that she was the glue that kept the team in sync. As a result of this, they approved of her despite her low cultivation base. At that instant, however, something completely unexpected occurred. Wu Siduo's mouth curved into a frightening smirk. She didn't move to dodge the ice spear. Instead, her 4 purple soul rings vanished and were replaced by a single purple soul ring. White light exploded from her body. White hair appeared all over her, and power surged through her flesh. Her single soul ring flared bright, and right before the ice spear struck her, she slapped it with a golden-clawed hand, shattering it into a puff of frost. She then crashed into the support-type Soul Master. Light flashed. He was eliminated. Twin martial souls. Luo Guixing blurted. The situation was just as he said. In that instant, Wu Siduo's 4 soul rings were swapped with a single soul ring and her martial soul transformed. There was only one possible explanation for this. She had twin martial souls. Very few knew about this fact. Luo Guixing wasn't the only one shocked by this. Even her impromptu ally, Yang Nianxia, was dumbstruck. Though she only had 1 soul ring for this martial soul, Her cultivation base still reached at least rank 40, so her single soul skill's might was equivalent with that of a fourth ring's. Upon landing, Siduo didn't pause for even an instant. Shrouded in an aura of golden light, she charged at the soul master that summoned the firebird, barreling through the bird that barred her path. Just as the ranged-type soul master was about to be crushed by Siduo, a silver flash teleported him off to the side. Although he had saved his ally, Luo Guixing's power wasn't limitless. Doing this meant that he had to turn his back to the battlefront against Yang Nianxia. Gritting his teeth, the shield soul master charged forward and attacked with his shield. Yang Nianxia had suffered quite a bit after being helplessly teleported out of the fray by Luo Guixing. Now that he had finally rejoined the chaos, he couldn't bear to restrain his strength. A boom tore through the air as Yang Nianxia smashed the shield out of the shield youth's hand and sent him flying backward. Before the youth could hit the ground, Tang Wulin sent a strand of blue-silver grass shooting out from behind Yang Nianxia to wind its way around the youth's waist. Then Tang Wulin yanked backward, flinging the young shield soul master right into Yang Nianxia's fist. White light blossomed, signaling the youth's elimination. Yang Nianxia turned around to face Tang Wulin and Gu. To his surprise, he found no trace of the two agility-type soul masters from Luo Guixing's side they should have been fighting with. They already got rid of those two. Yang Nianxia was shocked. Tang Wulin is just a two-ringed control-type soul master. Was he actually able to suppress those two agility types? But this is Shrek Academy. None of the people here are weak. Maybe Gu's strength is the reason they won? However, his conjecture only went that far. They were just temporary allies after all. With the mysterious disappearance of his two agility-type teammates in addition to the other two losses, Luo Guixing's face twisted into a frown. In spite of that, he didn't give up. He conjured up another silver vortex, but this time, it expanded from his body to repel instead of pull. Be it Siduo who rushed him from the rear or Yang Nianxia charging at him from the front, both were repelled. Silver light exploded from Luo Guixing's body, engulfing Xu Xiaoyan and the Firebird Soul Master. "We're leaving," he cried. At that instant, however, the silver light around him became chaotic, the spatial energy going out of control. This is bad. The power of space was mysterious and terrifying. Any other element becoming chaotic wouldn't be as dire. If a soul master lost control of any other element, they could simply run away, but escaping from chaotic space was easier said than done. The spatial energy that was supposed to teleport them away exploded, and a rift opened up in the sky. Wave after wave of terrifying energy lashed out at Yang Nianxia and Siduo. Luo Guixing shouted defiantly, but in the next instant, the spatial rift swallowed him up. The Firebird Soul Master was swallowed along with him, and the chaotic space crushed and tore the two of them apart. A second later, all that remained of them were a few particles of light. In the limbo before awakening to reality, Luo Guixing racked his brain trying to understand how the space he always had perfect control of suddenly went into disarray at that moment. In reality, he had been careless. With both his soul and spiritual power exhausted, his control had slipped. In the aftermath of Luo Guixing's failure, a solitary figure landed on the ground. Without the slightest hesitation, she threw her arms high up in the air. "I surrender. I surrender. I'll follow whoever wins." It was Xu Xiaoyan. Luo Guixing's team had collapsed in an instant, and she was the only survivor out of the original 7. Siduo's stern expression didn't waver. Yang Nianxia, on the other hand, heaved a sigh as he relaxed. However, his gaze was glued to Siduo. If Tang Wulin's team didn't count Xu Xiaoyan, they outnumbered Siduo 3-1. Not only had she exhausted a lot of her strength in the battle against Luo Guixing's team, using thousand-year soul skills one after another, she had also switched to her second martial soul and used its soul skill. Even for a 4-ringed soul master, her soul power reserves would be nearly depleted. Now was the time for Tang Wulin's team to strike. If they could win against Siduo, then the position of class president was as good as theirs. Siduo narrowed her eyes at Yang Nianxia. She stood there staunchly, golden light flashing around her body. "We've got no time to lose." Yang Nianxia shouted, then charged at Siduo. Young Nianxia knew all too well that, if they let Wu Siduo recover, not even the combined power of his entire team would be able to defeat her and her 4 purple soul rings. They either defeated her now or never. Even as he charged at Wu Siduo, he did not forget about Xu Xiaoyan. "We have more people," he cried. "Join us." Yang Nianxia had to take advantage of everyone he could. Even if his words only distracted Wu Siduo for an instant, it would be worth it. Besides, Xu Xiaoyan was only a 2-ringed soul master. He didn't really care if she joined them. But he failed to notice that, as he rushed forward, Tang Wulin and Ji Yu simply stood by. "Okay," Xu Xiaoyan said, accepting his offer, but she didn't even raise her staff as he continued charging forward. Yang Nianxia and Wu Siduo collided, the air around them whipping into a frenzy. The Dusk Gold Bear was a formidable martial soul. Wu Siduo's second martial soul was also an assault type, yet the clash had actually forced her a few steps backward. Her exhausted soul power left her at a disadvantage. Yang Nianxia's confidence soared as he saw her fall back. The dark golden light around him shone more intensely as his 3rd soul ring lit up, and he grew to become 3 meters tall. He didn't hesitate at all when it came to attacking a girl, resolutely sending the brute force of his fist to smash Wu Siduo. At that moment, Wu Siduo accelerated, a black light streaking out of her body. "She's switching martial souls?" Yang Nianxia rejoiced. He didn't fear her 4-ringed martial soul at all. From what he saw of her in the previous battle, he understood that her first martial soul was an agility type. Her cultivation base was higher than his, but she was depleted right now. Aside from strength, the Dusk Gold Bear also possessed a formidable defense. With his 3rd soul skill now activated, Yang Nianxia was confident that Wu Siduo wouldn't be able to break through his defenses. In addition to that, he had Tang Wulin and Ji Yu for backup. His victory was all but assured. Just as Yang Nianxia began to revel in his impending victory, something strange started to occur to Wu Siduo. A black aura appeared around her, but the golden light didn't disappear. Both auras fused into a chaotic radiance of dark gold as the golden hair on her body took on a crystalline luster. Her human form disappeared and she became a transparent white tiger. "What's this?" Yang Nianxia stared at her with dull eyes. He had never heard of something like this happening before. There's no way this is a martial soul avatar. Even if her martial soul is the white tiger, she would need to be a 7-ringed soul sage to manifest her avatar. She's just a 4-ringed soul ancestor. The thought only crossed his mind for a split second before he had to snap back to attention as the hell white tiger swiped at him. Try as he might, there was nothing he could do to dodge it. An instant later, a white light flashed. Another contestant was eliminated. Tang Wulin and Ji Yu were dumbstruck. Is that a self-soul fusion skill? To execute a soul fusion skill, 2 highly compatible soul masters were needed. When they came into contact with each other, their martial souls would fuse and release an explosion of power. This reminded Tang Wulin and Ji Yu of their battle against the twin sisters that unleashed their soul fusion skill to instantly reverse the tide of battle. The power that Wu Siduo currently displayed exceeded that of the twin sisters and was well beyond what Tang Wulin and Ji Yu could comprehend. In Tang Wulin's mind, there could only be a single reason for the strength she just exhibited. It had to be a self-soul fusion skill. This video will end here. Like video and subscribe to my channel.